Run. Come on sir, subscribe my channel at i-like ang aking video at syempre, huwag kalimutan kalampagin ang kampana.
Yes, for Cignal Ultra, Edison doesn't want to face what Ben Sanity gives him. I mean, we've seen in the first 5 minutes, he doesn't even having a buff on its own, and he's not able to go on the top lane, even on the bottom lane. I mean, the reaction coming from Execreation during the first game was very, very late, because they don't, I mean, he is not capable on doing it. Yeah, but Esmeralda, okay. Priority pick here for Cignal Ultra. Khalid is open, Yuzong is still open, we're in, that's the first pick of Execreation.
And they just showed, Cignal Ultra just showed us that the Yuzong is a non-factor if going up against them. They treated as Yuzong in a way where it wasn't really that much of a threat. But on the side of Cignal Ultra, I like this first pick because you ban out the show and you get the Esmeralda and you really had a lot of things going on for you.
Yes.
But surprisingly,
the
Roger
yes.
is out.
Roger is out, and something to know, this is not the usual Roger on the mid lane because Harriet was still here as well. So that just indicates that that's going to be a gold lane and jungle might be, so this is going to be a split in the box. So yeah, this might actually work, but I was actually looking or about to ask you earlier before Execreation was about to pick these two heroes, is will they be getting the Basha?
It could be a possibility, right? Like right now, Cignal Ultra can just deny pick that. Or they can just go for the Basha right now and they can secure a good game for their Esmeralda.
Yes, but if they're gonna be picking up Basha,
okay,
it's not gonna fit on their lineup because they do have this Natalia. And Natalia works best if its support is like Selena and not having the usual hard tank. It's been used consecutively, like Bran, they've been doing it, the Natalia and the Selena.
You know what, Rob, if you notice the draft that both teams did here, even without that third pick on the side of Execreation, that is automatically a very greedy first two pick setup. Their first pick is greedy. And they get the Baksha, and even so, they did a very greedy setup
because of the Harriet.
Because of the Harriet and the Roger.
Yes.
Those heroes don't go hand in hand. But on the side of Cignal Ultra, it's actually kind of aggressive as well. Not as greedy, because you're not really putting two core heroes, mid lane possible heroes here to the side of Cignal Ultra into one umbrella, into one phase. But if you look at it, this is still an Esmeralda, this is still a Natalia, and this is still a Yi Sun-shin. You're giving them a lot of information in terms of where the damage output is going to come from.
Yes, yes. It's like, yes, you could be able to pick the Roger from that point and get a side laner. Yeah. Even the Basha was a good pick on that, the first two picks for the side of Execreation. But revealing both, you just gave the mid end as well with your gold laner, and the only ones left, it was the tank was there. So
yeah.
what's just, what's lacking here for Execreation? It's just literally Exomax hero and as well with Saget too. Or probably, they might use like Basha side lane. I think they were one of the teams who did it. Just placing Basha on the side lane, going against 1v1 for Esmeralda, and might be that Chakno hero wasn't still available right now.
Well, one Chakno hero was taken out onto the side of for the side of Cignal Ultra. They take out that Atlas. Now, onto the side of Execreation, they can give that straight to Baksha, to Chakno. But they can actually give it to Sagitnu as well. A lot of the teams here onto the side of Cignal, a lot of the players rather to the side of Execreation, they can play a lot of heroes because that's how flexible their setups are. But as you can see, Cignal Ultra, they just ban out the Yuzong. They don't give that much priority into it. But right now, as long as you don't have that certain hero to the side of Execreation that can reach Yi Sun-shin head on, because a Yi Sun-shin against a Yuzong, you don't want that to happen. Because the thing is, Traceless goes on cooldown. It goes off cooldown if you reach a certain amount of hits on the Lee Sin Shin. But that doesn't usually happen when a Yu Zhong just gets near you.
Yes, definitely. Now, it's like, it's almost the same as we've been seeing on the first game, that Execration still going on to tanky heroes. Meanwhile, Cignal Ultra on somehow squishy but mobile types of heroes. So this just leaves us that in terms of offensive, is Cignal Ultra gonna be winning probably on the early game, but it's gonna somehow neutralize because they do have here the Harriet for Execration, and they don't have here the Hilda, who's been poking around for the side of Execration in the first game, but they still have the Natalia to do almost the same thing. Well, squishy probably, but still gonna do the thing with the Vision, but an Angela and a Jawhead. So I guess it's gonna be almost the same what they did. This Imba DJ and Ben Sanity will just poking around the block, and once again you're gonna hate both of these players because of course your buff. It's gonna be a hard one to take.
Yeah, and as you can see, there are a lot of ways to eject that. Well, not literally, but to take out that Harriet from his Zaman force. Now, this is a good strategy for the side of Execration. I can see the adjustment that they did in terms of just securing that farm for Benny Cutie and Hate here. Respectively, they're the ones who's going to use that Roger on Benny Cutie and Hate on that Harris. Now, why did they go for Sagitnu here on the Sams? Because they know that Sams, as long as Sams can scale in terms of XP, he does not need much of those items.
Yeah.
As long as he can get the Concurrent Inferno off, you get a certain amount of, how do you say this, stankiness that will be enough for the damage output that Cignal Ultra could do. Now, onto the side of Cignal Ultra, they're still aiming to take this to a very late game.
Yes, I totally agree with going into the late game, but somehow, scaling-wise, I mean, early to mid-game, I guess Execration has the upper hand. They still have this Selena, been doing really great for Max. Harriet, on the other hand, is going to be getting a hard time once again, getting its buff. But there's something to note here. I mean, was aiming that Imba DJ will be the one to use the Natalia, just poking around, but it's going to be Shinji. So meaning to say, this is going to be a core Natalia.
It is going to be a core Natalia.
I just want to see it. But yes, the Wise is still going to be on the mid lane. So they just giving, Imba DJ just settling it out on the XP lane. Or rather, was that the XP lane on the bottom lane? Yeah.
And they are still
so
going to
he
go
gets level 4 faster.
I think Chujin is still
going into the mid game. Their win condition definitely goes on the mid game to late game.
Yeah. And as you can see, there are 2 retributions here to the side of Execration.
Oh yeah.
There are 2 retributions here. I still remember.
See that? Yeah, 2 retribution. They do have one for Benny Cutie and as well with, and that's, well, you could put it in a way that they might have a slight advantage in terms of bigger objectives like Lords and Turtle, but a steal, not something we see. I mean, you've been the one to just invading my buff, and they're getting the purple buff for Cignal Ultra. Meanwhile, there's one dead. I guess Execration.
Yeah, and it's a death that it's a death that's very, very costly for the side of Cignal Ultra. Even though that they want to, take this to super late game, you cannot give Execration the extra gold that they need to get to that power spike that they want. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, we do have their event, Trickster's Village event. Get Halloween candies for treasure spin. Each spin will cost 4 Halloween candies, and you can get up to 7 each day. And with 10 spins, Rob, you can get guaranteed that there is a special skin, Hammer Giant.
Yes, very, very good skin here, a special skin rather. But what's very special is that Hayes is really doing well on early game, been able to kill the Natalia onto the top lane. Well, now it looks like that Execration is on a better position compared to what they had earlier. It's just this Natalia is not really working for them. Look at that, the Diamond Force. But the ejector for Hate might actually go down.
That was a heads-up play for Bensanity. Arrow won't connect Etomax here. He is not having fun with it.
Yes, and what's interesting is that Chujin did live that skirmish, but into the top lane, look at that. The Falling Star Moon will be getting Benny Cutie just going out. So, it looks like this. Cignal Ultra been, well, I guess they still can hold it on, but they really need those skills coming from Chujin. I mean, this draft is meant to kill heroes on the early game. If that's what you can, Hades can be able to do that. Chujin is gonna be taking Hades hard time scaling because it's gonna lessen its map control. Look at this, Execreation just going into their first.
And we do have our fight here. Hades here is their target. Hardguard is there. Hades, will he fight? If the DJ here went out and he wants to deal as much damage as possible, and another invade failing here onto the side of Execreation, but Cignal Ultra, they want more. Arrow will connect, but it connects to the wrong person. Chujin here will go down. There is a Gitsu trying to go for Rhea. Rhea here, will he get hit with Abyssal Arrow? No, he won't. Benny Cutie with that secure, but Cignal Ultra, they don't care about that, and Rhea here will go down. Bensanity is the next target, and he will go down as well. But the Churchill went to the side of Cignal Ultra.
Yeah, they shouldn't have chased that. I mean, the Wisest and as well with the Angela just went through the trail lane after the kill, probably the first kill or the execute coming from Choji. They just have to back away. Yeah, I mean, yes, they did kill someone there, but they totally got wiped out. I mean, there's just 3 members there, and this is a slight miscommunication coming from Cignal Ultra.
The nature of the lineup here for the side of Execreation, Rob, is, as you can see, you need to get the early objectives just to have a better spike. But then again, for the side of Cignal Ultra, what they're doing here is they're not really fighting it as much as possible.
Yeah.
They're not going for the fights. It's all about Execreation just forcing them to be taken down.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, that is actually a very smart move for Cignal Ultra, because you went straight for the turtle. That could have given a lot of advantage for the side of Execreation, and while everything was happening, you just went straight for one of their objectives, and you denied it.
Yes, denied, but Rhea will not actually live there. But Hate, let's have go. Ejector was still not available for Bensanity. Saknu been sanking good there, or rather 3. It's actually going to go down here, Bubbles.
And the armor coming up from the hard guard isn't enough. Was it a bit too late? I think it was late.
It was indeed late. Now, it looks like Execreation is back on the one to hold the tempo here for the second game. Bensanity, not something we see like what he did in the first game, but still doing okay, but Arrow from FMX will hit. And now, so we're here going towards the mid. So what's going to be, who's the winning condition? And, well, just to rub it in, it's that Benny Cutie is actually unspoiled, or rather is not being touched for like less than 5 minutes here in the game. And I guess it's been scaling way too much.
Yeah. And speaking of scaling way too much, that is one thing that Chujin cannot do. There's a lot of pressure going on the side of Chujin, and right now Execreation gets that turtle. At least they have an answer. Roger will go down, and there is a lot more emphasis into getting the objectives for the side of Execreation. Why? They have 2 retribution.
Yes, they do have 2 retribution, and Windtalker has been already available for the Roger, and that means he'll be able to clear ways, he'll be able to deal damage as well. And this is going to be probably a good snowball for Execreation from this point onwards. Now, but Bensanity is still doing great with its Ejector. Will they be able to bring down Shackle? They're not going to be chasing in, and they do know that Hate is just waiting around the bush.
Yeah, that is a great move from Cignal Ultra. They did not really force things out, but I speak of the devil.
Yes,
ladies and gentlemen,
they got
someone forced it.
Yes, Shojin got impatient, and I really like how Hate anticipated that one. And now Shackle just rolling here, getting out, but still gonna live there, ladies and gentlemen. But now Execreation, they're been the ones commanding here for the side of Cignal Ultra. Will they be able to take this tower? Davenport was down, and yes, oh my god, it's like Execreation been fueled up. What they did on the first game is totally different right now.
It is totally different, but as you can see, Etamax and the others, they're using those brushes to their advantage. They're not really letting Imba DJ and the others control that, and they've been getting a lot of these pickups just going for those dense brushes. Now, Bensanity here is the next target by on the side of Execreation, and Execreation will take him down. Sujin going 1v1 against the Roger. Well, 1v1 against Benny Cutie. But Benny Cutie can only do so much against Natalia.
Yes, and the Lycan Pounce will actually save Benny Cutie.
He actually dodged it.
He did, and Shaknu was just right on time to show off the rest of Cignal Ultra. Meanwhile, Chunjin dying onto the bottom lane. Rhea still not capable to bring down another, but it's still not going to be enough. Hades will be taken down, and another one. Shaknu. I guess Cignal Ultra did one there, but they are losing their bottom lane.
They lost their bottom lane. Angela wasn't there. Bensanity, his unstoppable force, got dodged by Benny Cutie. That Lycan Pounce was perfectly timed. Didn't hit him. That could have been the damage that they needed. But onto the top out for his team.
Yes, and the Gillette instant replay here just showing us what just happened. Hashtag save the day. Look at here. I mean, Benny Cutie been dodging left and right, but Hades will stop lane. But the difference between that 2 kills is 2 turrets down for the side of Cignal Ultra. Now, I'm really concerned on Cignal Ultra on being able to tank, specifically on the late game, because Bensanity is nowhere to do that right now, because the damage from Benny Cutie, damage from Hate, even Zagat Nu is providing damage right now, because he's been going for like a attack damage, just endless battle right now, and will he be able to bring
Benny
down
Cutie
is
the target here for Bensanity. Bensanity doesn't have the unstoppable force. Benny Cutie does have the damage to take that Jawhead down. Hades here with a collapse, and that is a perfect execution. In terms of pickoff, Execreation, they got what they wanted. Onto the top lane, there is a push happening, but it doesn't matter as Rhea is forced to go back. And that is Execreation marching on with just one mistake. Things are about to go to Execration side.
Yes, that was very costly pickup that they did there. I mean, they could be able to pull it off, but it's just right. Shaknu was just right in time to cut the reinforcement coming from Hades, and just leaving Bensanity after the ejector that he did on Benny Cutie. But yeah, that was very costly for them, losing their base turret on the bottom lane.
And as you can see, Angela is just staying onto the side lane because the hard guard can be popped anytime, and it still would be a 5v5. Sujin, however, getting spotted. I like how aggressive Execration is, even though this is a Natalia. I like the fact that they contest every push in the game, because they know Natalia will come from there.
Yes, and the mid turret here for Execration is really giving Cignal Ultra a very I think they might be on the lower end for the side of the team fight, because I mean, Execration still has their own mid turret while the Lord is still up. So the sides that they do have here through Retribution to somehow give them a higher chance to be able to last his Lord, but a team fight might actually happen here.
Hades almost getting hit, and Sujin here almost always spotted out by the side of Execration. Can he get out? Can he get out? Yes, he will. No, he won't. He gets stabbed by that synchro vision, and he goes down.
He really did go down. I was looking at Nate that once. He actually thought he had the Cyclone Eye, and that's the reason why he actually used the synchro vision. But regardless, the Lord will be taken here down by Execration. Arrow will connect Bensanity here, ladies and gentlemen. And now, Execration, a very commanding lead here going into the late game.
And this is how you do it, Execration. They are gonna take this 1-1 if the pressure doesn't stop onto their side. Lord is gonna go down to bot. that is a good path for them in terms of, just meeting the Lord in that certain area, because if it goes to mid, that means it takes a shorter time for the Lord to get there. But onto the bottom lane, they can plan it a bit. They can just, contemplate if they are going to go bot, mid, or top.
Yes, bot, mid, and top, but here to revitalize will just save Jack too. Red Hand is ready in down, going in. The damage board is still dealing a lot of damage. Shoji is going down as well, but Benny Cutie will be the casualty for Execreation, but still the Lord is still up. Here, Buzzers in this who's winning. Looks like Execreation been taking tower after tower here for a Cignal Ultra.
And Hades here going straight for that siege minion, and right now the Lord is gonna go down. Execreation here, happy with what they've achieved there. They take down the mid lane turret, and right now they want more onto the top lane.
Yeah, well, this is a very disciplined Execreation. They don't want to take too much of what they had. They are on the lead and they don't want to lose it. But that ejector, it started it all. I mean, Jack Nu was the only one available since the big lead on the front line. But he is not someone you wouldn't want inside your base, because regardless what happens, he's just revitalized, he has this ultimate, and everything is just goes nuts for the side of Cignal Ultra, and they don't have the burst damage that they need to bring down the Basha.
Immortality is onto the side of Insanity. It rhymes.
It really rhymes.
Well, actually rhymes as well.
I like how you did it.
Execreation, they're really looking good right now. Endless battle between Wings and a Molten Core or Molten Heart onto the side here on Cignal. I like how they are actually getting those casual stuff, but it's probably gonna go for that current element. Benny Cutie, the Natalia pick, it doesn't really work for Execreation.
Yeah.
The amount of time that Natalia has been seen into the map, you really have to give that a lot of credit on the side of Execreation, because some of the teams really are afraid when the Natalia, when they don't see the Natalia on the map. But Execreation, they can almost pinpoint every single time where the Natalia is at certain points of the game. Hades here is not gonna go down, but that doesn't matter as we head on.